Good day, Matrix. We are now going to be going through the corrections of 13.6 as well as 13.7. And then I will be discussing 13.9 and 10, which is activities that need to be completed for this week. And then I will be sending an additional video discussing task 13.14 and the 2 extra activities in the schedules. So let's get going. So we are required to complete a production cost statement with the notes. Remembering we have to first complete the notes before we complete the production cost statement or the income statement. So I've got the corrections over here. So direct material costs, remember direct material costs is the cost that the materials that are used in order to actually create the products, that is directly involved with the products. All right, so here we have raw material stock balances on hand. They gave us our opening stock as well as the closing stock of 42,000. All right, and remember, anything that has got to do with raw materials, you need to go and see, have I purchased raw materials? Have I paid for carriage on purchases to have my raw materials delivered to my business? All right, and yes, we did. Raw materials bought for cash, raw materials bought on credit, transport cost of raw materials was 35,000. The raw materials issued to the factory, remember this would be the total amount. They didn't give us the total amount this time around, but we can, however, work it out with these amounts that were given to us. So let's go and sort that out. You'll see that by opening stock we have our 105,000 rand. I've also included the cash and credit raw material purchase, which gave me a total of 610,000. Please show me your calculation. This will add for part marks, especially in the IEB examinations. And then we also included the carriage on purchases, which was for 35,000. If I added those three figures together, it gave me a total amount of 750 for my direct material costs. And then I will subtract the closing stock, the stock that I have not used as yet. Alright, so you subtract in the 42,000. I showed you where you got the 42,000 from. It was given, which now gives us the direct material cost that was actually used during the year. 750 subtract the 42,000, which gave me 708,000. Because this is note 1 to the financial statements, I can directly take it to the production cost statement. Direct material cost, note number 1. And where are we now? They got the totals confused, so this should be 708,000. All right, so 708,000. Please, I hope that's a bit clear. 708,000. All right. Moving along to note number 2, it is your direct labor costs. Direct labor costs is the people that you are paying. What people are you paying? You are paying the people, your employees, your workers who are actually working directly on the product. All right. In this instance, did they let us know what we are selling? Tugela Water Manufacturers, so people who are actually manufacturing the water bottles. So let us go and see in our notes what they said. Wages paid to direct workers, 330. direct workers that are directly working with the product at hand, and I'm going to place that in my notes. Direct labor cost, factory wages 330, and we total it up. Direct labor cost is 330. I'm done with note 2, so I'm taking it directly to my production cost statement. It would be note number 2, and you'll see that they've got the figures mixed up over here. But what am I going to do? I'm going to put my 330,000 Rand. If I add the 708,000 plus the 330,000, let's go work that out. I should get a total of 1,038,000. Okay, so that will give me direct material costs plus direct labor costs will give me my prime costs, which should be on the top over here. So you'll see all the answers were correct except it was situated on your template differently. So that was 1,038,000. All right. Once we have that, we can go to note number 3, which is your factory overhead costs. What is your factory overhead costs? All the expenses incurred by the factory. So let us go and see what that has in store for us. All right. So we've ticked off these. We've taken it into account. Wages paid to cleaners, see number 1 below. So they're saying number 1, the cleaners' wages are cleaning materials. The cleaners' wages and the cleaning materials are to be allocated in the ratio of 4:1:1 between the factory, office, and sales department. So you remember how we do that? When we're dealing with the ratio 4:1:1, I'm going to add the ratio up to get my denominator, which will be 4 plus 1 plus 1, 6. And if I'm working out the factory, I'm going to take the total amount and multiply it by 4 divided by 6. When I'm working out the office, it will be 1/6. And then the selling department is also 1/6. And then I'll take the total amount. So let us go and see what the total amount of our wages being paid to the cleaner, 42,000. So I'm going to say 42,000 times 4/6. 42,000 times 1/6. And then the very same at the selling. All right, and then I will work those answers out. So let us go and see what it actually is. So here's wages. Cleaner 42 times 4/6. Our answer would be 28,000. Then we're going to move on to the next adjustment. All right, so salary paid to the foreman, to factory foreman. Remember, your factory foreman is basically a manager. Are they working with the actual product? No, they're not. They're indirectly working in this factory, making sure that everything is running smoothly. And the factory foreman's salary is 129,000. As you can see, there's my 129,000. Right, cleaning materials. You'll see that we have indirect material stock, and in brackets it says cleaning material. So I had opening stock and I also had closing stock. So when I start this financial year, I'm going to take the 3,000 Rand. I'm going to see where else have I purchased cleaning materials, and I will subtract what I have left on hand, the 5,000 Rand. And obviously, let us go and have a look in the transactions during the year. Cleaning materials bought on credit, see number 1 below. So we've purchased cleaning materials worth 38,000 on credit. And they say, see number 1 below. And they say cleaning materials are to be allocated in the ratio of 4:1:1. So the very same thing we done here for the actual cleaners, we are going to be doing for the cleaning materials. So remember, we had opening stock worth 3,000. I'm adding the 38,000 Rand that I purchased on credit, and I'm going to subtract my cleaning materials that I had on hand. Once I get that figure, I will then multiply it according to the ratio, and remember the ratio is 4:1:1. 4 representing the factory, so it's going to be 4/6. How did I get the 6? I added the ratio together to get the denominator. If we add this together, matrix, we should get a value worth 24,000. And there we go, 24,000. Now we're moving on to rent expense. What does it say about rent expense? Salary paid to office worker. Remember, factory overheads, it's only expenses incurred by the factory. So I'm looking for my keyword, factory. Rent paid. See number 2 below. And the total amount of rent is 432,000, and they're saying that we must see the note below. So number 2, rent and insurance are apportioned according to the floor area. So the factory uses 800 square meters, the office 180 square meters, and then we have the sales department is 220 square meters. So the very same thing that we do with the ratio, we are now going to be doing with the square meters. It's 800 plus 180 square meters plus 220 square meters. If I add that up, 800 plus 180 plus 220, that gives me a total square meter of 1,200. So all in all, we have our building consists of 1,200 square meters. And when we work it out, I will take the total figure, obviously, and I'm going to multiply it by the square meters, which is a portion. So the factory uses 800 of the 1,200 meters. Then the office department uses 180 square meters of the total amount of square meters in the building. And then the sales department uses 220, and that's how it will be done. So how much is our rent? Our rent amount is 432,000. 432,000 times 800 over 1,200, and we should get the amount of 288,000, which we have over there. Insurance works out the same with the square meters, except for insurance we have a different figure. There we go. Insurance is 36,000. So remember the factory uses 800 square meters. So let's go to our calculation. Insurance 36,000 times 800 divided by 1,200, which gives us a total of 24,000. Then we move on to the electricity, which is, there's an adjustment. So let's go to the adjustment.